Hey guys, Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck Explorer here. To go along with that Cyber ABC deck profile that I gave you just a little bit ago, I'm going to do some Cyber ABC combos. Now, what's interesting about this actually is you would think that some of the Cyber Dragon part of the combos would be similar to what you would see in a Cyber Dragon deck, and like getting started it is, but since we don't play a machine duplication version of Cyber Dragons, a lot of the best combos aren't the same because they're oriented around different cards that do different stuff. So I think I'm going to stick with the Yacine style video here. We're going to go ahead and bounce down to EDO Pro, and let's just go ahead and get right into these combos. Alright guys, so you can see here that we have a plethora of test hands and combo videos, so let's just jump right into this. I think where I want to start is just Core plus Rampage, and the reason I want to start here is because, or Core equals Rampage, sorry, not plus Rampage, because this shows that you can do a lot with just a Cyber Dragon core, and you essentially play 6 of them in your deck because you play 3 Cyber Emergency plus 3 core. So if we, here we're going to use the Cyber Emergency to pick up the core, and if we keep going, we normal summon core, it activates, we grab Cyber Repair Plant, which we play 1 of in the deck, and then you can summon Almirage to put core in the grave, and then you activate Cyber Repair Plant to get the Nashter. Then you can activate Nashter and pitch a monster from your hand. Here we pitch Droll because I drew 2. And then we can link these 2 away into Anaconda, pitch Overload, and get our Rampage Dragon. So you can see already how strong that is, just being able to go Anaconda into Rampage. Now that's something to remember, is that Anaconda is in there for Dragoon, but Anaconda would be in this deck even if you aren't playing Dragoon. So say you don't want to play the Dragoon package, you're going to drop Dragoon, you're going to drop Red Eyes, Black Dragon, Dark Magician, and Red Eyes Fusion, but you're going to leave Dragoon in, excuse me, can't talk. You're going to leave Anaconda in because Anaconda can search the Overload Fusion or the Cyberload Fusion depending on where you're at in the game, and it's a easy link too, so it's an easy extender to get to those cards. So we're going to go ahead and exit this one. Oh, and then in, I don't know if I do it here, but yeah, so the other important thing to remember is that in Cyber ABCs, you're going to use Rampage to pitch your letters, because then you can banish the letters from the graveyard to get into Cyber ABC. So getting a Rampage on the field actually is set up for the next turn as well. So don't forget that just drawing into core isn't necessarily a bad thing. So the next couple combos here that I'll show you are focused around core plus another card. So if we want to stick with just the Cyber Dragon aspect of it, we can do core plus Nashter. Here we normal summon the core, get the Cyber Repair Plant, summon Almirage. Same beginning as last time, but this time we're going to search a letter with Cyber Repair Plant because it's a light machine, so we can. And because we already have the Nashter, and now we can use the Nashter to send the letter to the graveyard, and then we can make Anaconda, send the Overload Fusion, and then make Rampage. And this doesn't seem any different than last time, except now we have all 3 letters in grave because we pitched the letters off of Rampage. So when we come around to our next turn, you can see we drew an Ash, so you wouldn't think that we would have any follow-up plays, but we're actually able to go into Dragon Buster on our second turn, just like that, because we already got those cards in grave. So don't forget that even though you're not necessarily able to get Dragon Buster out immediately on the first turn, sometimes you do want to try to get letters in the grave to set up for the next turn if you can't extend otherwise. If you can extend otherwise, then forget about the letters. Extend as far as you can while getting letters in the grave. So next, we kind of introduced this idea of unauthorized reactivation, and we're starting to introduce the ABC core more into the combo itself. So if you don't know what unauthorized reactivation does, it's the second half of Union Hanger, or the second half of Union Hanger, where you can attach a Union Muster from your deck to a card on the field. So all we're going to do is the same thing with core. We're going to normal summon core, and then we're going to I like to chain unauthorized reactivation, because if you activate it separately, they can negate both. But if you chain unauthorized reactivation and they want to neg the unauthorized reactivation, you can still continue with your core play. So anyways, so we pick Union Driver to get around the summoning limits on Union Monsters. Normally when you equip a Union Monster, you can't then summon it the same turn you equip it, with unauthorized reactivation with Union Hanger, that is. But since Union Driver can then switch itself out for a different Union Monster, you attach Union Driver and then activate Union Driver to get the ABC Monster. Then you can activate the ABC Monster to summon it. And now we have two materials, so we go into Anaconda. You always want to get Buster out first. You always want to get Buster out first, because Buster searches from the deck your other ABC letters. So there's a lot of, I think later on I'll do a more extensive combo with more cards or more specific cards. And the idea is it doesn't matter if you get anything else out, but if you get the two Busters out, you can search the other letters and then you're off to the races. So a lot of times you'll equip Buster to Buster, and then you can search Wyvern or Assault Core. So here we special summon Anaconda, and then I activate Cyber Repair Plant, which I searched off the core, to fetch a Nashter. The Nashter puts the other letter, the C, in the grave, so that way we have a B and a C in the grave, which at this point we're not going to be able to summon ABC on this turn, but it's nice to have them in the grave regardless, because they're easily extenders after that. Now we're going to activate Anaconda. You saw that I pitched the Nashter with the Linkuriboh, so that way I had two Cyber Dragons in grave for overload. You could use the Nashter on field, but then you're losing material on field. If you link it away with the Linkuriboh and then activate overload, you get to maintain that body on the field. And so the Linkuriboh now acts as protection, somewhat battle protection for the Rampage or the Anaconda. Obviously, this isn't our best first turn board setup, but again, we pitched the extra letters with Rampage. And then, I don't know if I do it here. Yeah, so when we come around to our next turn, we can activate Rampage, pitch the rest of the... We can actually... Oh, that's what it is. This is actually fun, because since we pitched so many letters before activating Rampage the first turn, we can come around to turn 2, activate Rampage again before we do anything else, pitch the rest of our letters. We can actually summon 2 ABC Buster Dragons right off the bat. Then we can activate Anaconda again and pull out Cyberload Fusion, which I know during the deck profile I said I play 2 Overload Fusion. I go back and forth between 2 Overload Fusion and Overload Fusion and Cyberload Fusion, because if you can make a Rampage turn 1, that's good, but a lot of times it won't last, and that's when Cyberload Fusion comes in handy. But also Nova can pull Rampage, Nova can pull Rampage from the extra deck. I was thinking Nashter can pull Rampage out of the graveyard and stuff like that. So it's not critical that you play the Cyberload Fusion, but just like in this case, we can now pop the Overload Fusion and add those cards back from the Banish Zone to the deck. And now we're cooking. Turn 2, assuming that they had no way to out the board previously, we now have 2 Rampage and 2 Dragon Buster. We can easily pop 2 cards on their field because we still have 4 cards in hand, which in this case are all hand trapped, but they don't have to be. You can pop 2 cards on the field. I guess not pop, banish 2 cards on the field using the Dragon Busters. And then each one of these Rampage Dragons can attack 3 times this turn because they both banished cards. So, I mean, it's a pretty straightforward OTK setup there. I guess it's not OTK because you had to set up over 2 turns, but you get the point. But that's all I got for that. A lot of these combos you can see, like, the first turn board isn't great, but you're kind of setting up for the next turn. And that's something that's interesting about this deck that I've found, is that the first turn board setup isn't so good, which is why it's not, you know, like a tier list worthy deck, is because all these other really high tier list decks can get these boards with a lot of negations on the first turn. Meanwhile, these ones, they don't get a lot of board presence right off the bat with 1 or 2 cards, but you can start building up resources very quickly for turn 2, turn 3, and really pop off and start picking apart your opponent's board. This also doesn't take into account anything your opponent might have. If you're going second, you could steal monsters with Mega Fleet or with Fortress Dragon, and those are both really strong cards right now, along with Jizukiru. Lots of people are playing Link monsters, so Mega Fleet's pretty strong. So just keep that in mind. There's a lot going on with this deck that isn't necessarily directly part of the combos. So we'll get to some of the most strong combos of this deck, and they're more to do with the actual ABC core, because we're not playing Machine Dupe. So with Cyber Dragons, you play Machine Dupe, so that way you can get the bodies to make Infinity and Dragoon and all that kind of stuff. In this particular deck, we don't play Machine Dupe, so just getting the Cyber Dragons doesn't always give you enough resources to make anything aside from like a Rampage using Anaconda. But so we'll go into the Galaxy Soldier plus Union Hanger combo, which this is the combo that you have to know if you're going to play this deck. If you're going to play ABCs in general, you need to know this combo because it's pretty bread and butter. You're going to activate Union Hanger, which you can then add a light machine monster from your deck. So you're going to add B Buster Drake, and then you're going to normal summon B Buster Drake, and then that activates Union Hanger again, and you can attach a Union monster from the deck to the normal summon monster. So you're going to attach Union Driver. You're then going to activate Union Driver to replace it with another Buster Drake. Then you can special summon the Buster Drake from the Equip Zone, link both those off. Here I link them into an IP Mask Arena. What you link them into is determined very heavily based on what you want in your end board and what you're going for as far as what you want your opponent to have to play through. You could do an Anaconda instead of IP, and then at the end of the turn fire off the Anaconda and get a Dragoon or an extra body on board. But what's more traditionally thought of as like a good ABC move is to use IP, and I'll explain that in a second once we have the board set up. So you're going to use the 2 Buster Drakes to search the other 2 letters. So now we have Galaxy Soldier plus the A and the C. You're going to fire off Galaxy Soldier, sending the A. You're going to fire off the second Galaxy Soldier that you searched off the first one, sending the C. You're then going to overlay the 2 Galaxy Soldiers into Nova, and then you're going to overlay into an Infinity. You now have all the letters you need in the graveyard for a Buster Dragon. So now you're going to banish for a Buster Dragon. And I believe that's the end of the replay. But if we take a peeky poo at the board here, we have Infinity with 2 overlay units, which you can only use it once per turn, but it's an Omni Negate. So you have an Omni Negate, plus you have a quick effect banish from Dragon Buster. You still have 3 cards in hand. So you could theoretically use it 3 times, but it's only once per turn also. So you have that banish. So you have an Omni Negate and a banish. And then what you do after, like on your opponent's turn, this would be like your turn 1 board. So then on your opponent's turn, you would use your Omni Negate, use your banish, and then after you banish, you can activate the other quick effect, and you can special summon out your 3 letters from the banish zone. And then what you're going to do is you're going to quick effect activate IP, and you're going to go into, Phoenix, Unicorn, or Underworld Goddess. All really good cards, all disruptions on your opponent's turn, and still maintains bodies on the board. Plus, the great thing about using the letters for link material is that you're bringing those back from the banish zone. So your Buster Dragon goes to the graveyard. You does it banish? I don't remember. Tribute. So it goes to the graveyard. You bring back those banished monsters. You then link them away for your disruption. Especially if you're going into Underworld Goddess, that's like insanely strong. Plus you steal your opponent's monsters. So like bonkers good if you can get that going on your opponent's turn. Then you roll around to your turn, and the monsters that you linked away are in the graveyard, and you have another Buster Dragon in your extra deck, so you can just banish those monsters again and go into another Buster Dragon on your opponent's turn. So your board going into your next turn, not only will your opponent probably not be able to play through an Omni Negate, a banish, plus stealing their opponent's monster or popping it, depending on whether you go Unicorn or Underworld Goddess, but you're talking about like 3 interruptions at least off of this board, plus biggish bodies in general. So if you play it right, your opponent probably won't be able to play through that. So not only will they not be able to play through that, but then on your next turn, you're going to have an Infinity with another overlay unit. So you'll still have another Omni Negate on Infinity. Plus you'll have, Unicorn, Phoenix, or Underworld Goddess as your link monster instead of IP. Plus then you'll be able to banish your unit monsters and get back another Buster Dragon. And that's not considering any of the extenders that you may draw. If you draw a core, you're off to the races. You didn't use your Cyber Repair Plan or anything for this combo, so you could Cyber Repair Plan, you can go into Anaconda, and you can, then go into a Dragoon or a Rampage and OTK potential on the next turn. This combo is the combo for the deck right now. It's very consistent. It's the reason why, a lot of people only play 2 Galaxy Soldier, because the third one becomes a brick after you use the other 2, because you can't, you can summon it, but then you can't fetch another Galaxy Soldier, so it's kind of like, what's the point? But I play 3 because seeing 1 in your hand, seeing 2 in your hand isn't even that bad, because then you can search the other one out of the deck anyway. But seeing 1 in your hand plus a Union Hanger, plus we play Terraforming, plus unauthorized reactivation plus a letter is basically the same thing, which I'll show you here. So we go Galaxy Soldier unauthorized reactivation plus Buster Drake, but I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering the combo correctly, it works with any letter, because you just attach a Buster Drake and then you have 2 letters and you search the third one, etc., etc. But I'll just let this play through. I'm pretty sure the idea is the same thing, except now instead of using Union Hanger to attach Union Driver, you're going to use unauthorized reactivation to attach Union Driver. Now you have 2 letters. You're going to, do the whole thing. Same exact combo as before, and getting Galaxy Soldier out there. You have the IP, you have the Infinity, now you have the ABC Buster Dragon. Let's see, what do I set here in a second? Yeah, so it's the same exact board, same exact thing, but you can see that seeing the Galaxy Soldier is the key to this combo. There's other things you can get that make the other part of the combo work, the Union Hanger or the unauthorized reactivation plus the letter. You can get other stuff that makes the other half of the combo go, but you need the Galaxy Soldier to get into the Infinity and to throw letters into the graveyard. So that's why I play 3 Galaxy Soldier. And I believe the last 2 are test hands, and they're kind of they're other options and best case scenario type of things. So we'll do this one first. I end up with a Dragoon, a Buster, and an Infinity. So we're going to start with Core. We activate Core, do the whole thing. We have the Overload Fusion in hand, which is why I like to play 2, because having it in hand gets you the Rampage Dragon without having to use your Anaconda summon for it. So what you're able to do here is do your normal Cyber Dragon shenanigans with the Galaxy Soldier as well. get into the Nova, get into Anaconda. I use Overload Fusion to do the Rampage. Now, I will say here, I should have gone into Infinity earlier because you want to be able to have that negate as soon as possible. But you see the idea here is that we had that Overload Fusion in hand, so you're able to activate that during your turn before going into the Dragoon, rather than having to decide whether you want to summon Dragoon or Rampage on top of the Infinity. And that's why like I go back and forth between having the two Overload Fusion, because like you can see Cyberload comes up sometimes on your second or third turn, but it doesn't come up as often as you would think. And having that second Overload Fusion makes it twice as likely you're going to see it in your hand, which lets you do stuff like this. And then the last test hand I have here is a Dragoon Buster Infinity. And you can see we have Union Hanger and Galaxy Soldier, so we're going to fire off that combo. Basically the same as the Galaxy Soldier Union Hanger combo. Instead of putting up the IP, I put up the Anaconda. So then at the end of the turn, we can send the Red Eyes Fusion and make Dragoon. And that gives us the Dragoon, which has the negate. Actually, it has 2 negates. Plus, right? Yeah, plus the Omni Negate and Infinity, plus the Banish in Cyber ABC. If you're worried about, and then you can absorb the Infinity, make your, or you can absorb the Anaconda, make your Infinity a little bigger. So, you know, that's a nice little con. Is it once per turn? Yeah, it's once per turn, sorry. I was thinking about how many discards you have, and you have at least 3 if you haven't hand trapped or anything yet, but it's only once per turn. You can destroy 2 monsters per turn, no? But yeah, so overall, very strong deck. I highly recommend playing it just for fun. I think it could be competitive, like regionals wise. A pure Cyber Dragon deck did just top the road to YCS. Samurai X1 his channel just did a video with the guy who piloted that deck, and I mean, it's a very good deck. It's very similar to the deck that I've shown you before too. Not claiming credit. It's definitely different. I definitely didn't come up with the build. Just saying that Cyber Dragons are good, and I really like Cyber Dragons. And the deck that I showed earlier, if you want to check out that video, I'll have the link at the end. Shows how strong machine duplication is with this deck. You know, you can end on Infinity and Dragoon pretty consistently with that deck. But here you can see the power if you have extenders. Plus, if you like the Union Monster mechanic. I really like this deck. I really like the way it's going. So thanks for checking out the video. If you want to see the deck profile, I'll have the link at the end. If you want to see pure Cyber Dragons, I'll have the link at the end. I hope you have a great rest of your day.